everybody, and welcome to the Crest Autosport World Touring Car Challenge, coming from Laguna Seca for rounds 2 and 3, which I will get into momentarily because of last week. I am your commentator, that's me, Andy Pawley. I'm here for the entirety of tonight. It's going to be a short run tonight, probably only about an hour and 10 minutes. Go back, watch it, save it, send it, and make sure you subscribe as well. So where are we tonight? What's going on? Well, tonight we are at Laguna Seca. It's not the 22nd, it's a week later, the 29th. We are going to be doing rounds 2 and 3 tonight. Do not worry, I will take you through it. Car choices remain the same. The only car you cannot have is the Alfa Romeo Giulietta 2018 because it is mighty compared to the rest since the update they did in RACEROOM. So you cannot drive that car, but you can drive all the rests. A couple of Opel Astras are in there, or Vauxhall, depending on where you are. No Golf GTIs. Big shame there, but it is what it is. The track, if you're interested, is the road course. It is 2.2 miles or 3.6 kilometers for our European cousins. 1957 it was established. Got the corkscrew, which is its most famous corner. 4 right, 7 left of 11 turns. £4.27 is your race room cost. Previous winners is only Pavel. Pavel is our #1 contender. He was in a league of his own last time out. Took race 1 victory, which will put him into 10th position for race 2. It's a hard overtaking lap. It's a hard overtaking circuit. It's going to be tricky for him. We'll see how he spans out. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, hasn't really changed because we're still running from last week. But the top 3 is Pavel, who's currently taken the first race this time. Alex Ward's finally, he hasn't joined. Alex Everett isn't in the lobby yet, which is quite surprising. Jamie Dory will be starting on the second row. On the first row alongside Benny Norton. Benny Norton is where my 50p is. He is going to be race 2 victory, I believe. That's where I see it. There's the team's championship. Pause it, save it, see how you want to do it. But the Next Gen Racing boys are first. Benny Norton and Poddy Flack are second. International Racing Team is 4th. That's Pavel and Kozlov. Don't think Kozlov's in. No, Kozlovs haven't joined yet. That's a bit of a shame. He's going to need his rear gunner tonight. And there's the CA1, CA2 and CA3 standings. They haven't changed either. CA1 is Pavel, Everett and Dory, but Benny Norton is going to be trying to go for his 2nd win of the season. Did it at Norris Ring, and he's going to try and go for the double this time out. Alex Everett has not won a race yet this season, the longest time he's been without a race victory. Do I think he's going to get a race 2 victory? No. Do I think he's going to get a race 3 victory? Possibly. Watch out for him. Pavel historically hasn't got a race 2 or 3 victory. He's just got to be a bit clever, I think, through races 2 and 3. He just needs to calm himself down a bit and pick his way through. He is fast, mighty fast, carrying the ballast. Just needs to be, I just think he just needs to be a little bit cleverer, and I think he'll go forward a lot more, but we'll see how that pans out. CA2, Alex Ward is currently leading that. He's currently on 238. Ola Johansson isn't in the lobby, so that should extend Alex's lead, followed by Kozlov. Kozlov's not in yet. It'd be interesting to see if he actually joins. CA3, you've got Plummer, Neil, and Campion. Again, we're missing a couple of those guys. Bit of a shame, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Sergey is on there. Nice to see you. Nice to see you back on stream again. Good evening. We all know who he is supporting. It will be, I presume, Pavel. Kozlov, if he's actually racing, which I don't know if he is, and we're missing. There's another guy as well. You'll probably tell me in a minute. Alec. We're missing Alec as well in the Honda. So we're missing Alec and Kozlov. So at the moment, Pavel is on his own, which is going to be very, very tricky, I think. But we'll see how that spans out. Welcome back to the commentary box. I'm back. Yes, I am. For the Crest Autosport from Laguna Seca. So we have got about 5 minutes to get you up to speed. So last week, we were running race 1, and at the end of race 1, the server completely quit. There was nothing else to look at. We couldn't run it, and that was it. It was game over. So Pavel took the victory, ticked the box. and was very happy. Jean Petre was second, Shaw's was fourth, Michael Clough was third. We then waited for races 2 and 3, so race 2 is a reverse grid of race 1. Top 10 positions are reversed for race 2, and ballast is applied per the qualifying positions. So Pavel at the moment hasn't had less than 40 kilograms as it stands on his car at the moment. So he's running around just with a lot of weight on board that car. Race 3 will come up after race 2. There's about a 5-minute gap, and race 3 is a top 15 reversal of race 3. Now, to win the championship, race 3 is the most important part of the championship. Getting a good result in race 1, tick the box, well done. Race 2, you need to be in the mid-pack, but race 3, when it's top 15 and with a grid of 25, possibly 30 drivers tonight, that 15 is going to be very, very important, so you just have to think a little bit tactically. And this track is very, very hard to pass at. So do I think we're going to see some incidents tonight? Yeah, pretty much into turn 1. It was very good last week, a little bit of argy-bargy into turn 1, but nothing untoward. There was nothing really to look at. We looked down on the replay analysis, which is back. So, yeah, he is okay, but can't race. Ah, there we go. So Sergei is coming on and confirming that they're not racing tonight. It's a real shame, absolute real shame, because I think Pavel's going to... the luck of it is Pavel, because he's been running 50 kilograms effectively for every single race, bar the first opening race. Oh, well, he did actually in races 2 and 3. He doesn't need that tow assistant to get him to the front of the grid. So I think he's going to be okay. So for all you Pavel supporters out there, I think he's going to be... I'm going to put him around position 6 in race 2. And if he can do that again around position 6 in race, or 7 in race 3. But it's all going to become about the melee. He's just got to pick them off one by one. He has the speed in the car. Race 2, I think, is going to be Benny Norton is going to take that victory, because he is starting on pole position. But he's going to have to defend from the very fast-moving Jamie Dorey, who will start second. And behind that is Michael Clough and Shaw's Yusuf. And Michael Clough is in the Renault. Now, historically, he's lost 1 position per race start since the start of the season, except last time out at Laguna Seca, last week, where he didn't. He didn't gain anything, but he didn't lose anything. So has he got that Renault Megane off the line? Has he been able now to think about how to harness the performance and the starting of that Renault? If he has, he could jump Shaw's Yusuf. So he could get himself in, so he could, he could jump Jamie Dorey. Cloughy is searching for a second win of the season, so he's looking for that. Benny Norton wants a second win of the season. Shaw's Yusuf is looking for a win of the season, as it stands at the moment, and they're all starting at the back of the grid. So Benny's got a real opportunity here just to get ahead and disappear. Now at the moment he's lapping 0.6 of a second slower than Michael Clough, but this is when there's nobody ahead of them. They've got open roads, so yeah, it's going to be very, very tricky, I think, for all of them. I think they're really going to have to think about where they're going to put their car. They can't afford any mistakes. They can't afford any issues, so they're really, really going to have to think about it. But the big news at the moment is Alex Everett isn't in the lobby, so he's not driving. So I don't know if he's got server issues or if he's got his wheel issue. I know he's just moved house, so he could be having some issues with his cars, but that's going to really dent his championship hopes. Now, unless he's in the lobby and I can't see him, there's 25 drivers in at the minute. 3 drivers have not set any competitive times. That's Ward, Butcher and Smith. Everybody else has set a comparative time. We will see how that pans out. But it's going to be tricky, I think. It's going to be interesting to see how they deal with this, because without the second man in the championship currently in the lobby, it's going to be a massive opportunity for them to get a whole host of points. but we will see what happens, because to finish first you have to finish, as they say. So Michael Clough's biggest issue is that he doesn't tend to finish race 2. Historically, he naturally doesn't finish race 2. So, yeah, it's going to be very, it's going to be tricky, I think. It's going to be, do I think it's going to be exciting? 100%. It's just going to be tricky, I think, for them. So they're in the warm-up session now. They've got 4 minutes and 40 seconds to get themselves sorted. We're going to flip over to Fraser Rostance, who's doing very well this season, actually, since he's got himself into that little Peugeot. Teammates to Alex Ward, and I think he's going to have to make a choice coming into the final 2 races of the season on whether or not he helps his teammate out, because there comes a point where you know you can't go any further in your category, the CA1, that's where Fraser Rostance is, but Alex Ward is currently leading the CA2 championship. Now, Kozlov isn't racing tonight, which means he's going to get a whole host of points. It's a bit of a shame because Kozlov is fast. He did have that incident at the Norris Ring, which is a shame. He got a penalty, back of the grid penalty for that, and I think that's when he lost his lead of the championship, which is a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. On that day in history, that's how it went. If he'd left just a little bit more room, he wouldn't have had it, and he would still be leading the championship. But it's one of those things, really. You can only look back at what you've done and make that choice, and he made that choice, and it didn't pan out for him. Bit of a shame, but it is what it is. Jamie Higgs is in. He's down in 19th at the moment. Well, he's 19th position, 19th. Then you've got Kirby and Rob South. Rob South is doing really well. Teammates to the Butcher. Butcher, not the Butcher. Rob South, I think he is friends with Russ Butcher, so Rob South is coming along nicely. I'm not sure if he is new to this type of racing. Don't know much about him. He's doing okay. He's just getting there. His biggest issue is, I think, he's just got to keep his head down and keep the car on the tarmac, and I think he'll do all right. Paul Hans is back in his bright yellow Honda. It's not an Audi. I always call it an Audi, but it isn't. They look nothing alike at all, but they're both yellow and they're both DHL liveries, so they look absolutely stunning. I think they are the best looking car on the grid. That's how I would say it anyway. Michael Clough was fastest in practice. He actually got into the 1:30.7, so he was faster than anybody else. Even in last week's qualifying session, he was the fastest at 1:30.7. So, yeah, he was absolutely grand rapid. So, it's going to be tricky to see what he does. He's going to have to make progress fast, to be honest, and then he's going to have to get through race 3 to see what he does. Martin Kirby, I've seen him in other leagues as well. He's done very well. He's progressing nicely through it. So, it's a real shame. Sergey saying, as I know, Matvey won't compete in championship further. Oh, okay. Bit of a shame, really. Don't know if that was a personal choice. But there's the news for you. Scooby Sims Racing, that's Jeff Perkis, who's currently down in 15th. Nice to see you, Scoobs Sim Racing. Jeff Perkis, race winner in the little Alfa Romeo. Can he get a little victory from race 3? That's where he took it last time out. It was a race 3 victory. Martin Kirby, Jamie, they're all going to show on the first fastest on there. So if you are a Perkis supporter, look out for Perkis in race 3. If he's currently, see what he can do. Health reasons, real shame. Well, our thoughts from the Crest Autosport League are with him. Hopefully he can get better soon. Hopefully he can come back. Or hopefully he can continue to watch us and do the support. But we wish him all the best. It's a real shame. We lost a great competitor there. If you've not seen him, go back and watch the opening 3 races of the season. Absolutely stellar, was coming along absolutely perfectly as well. But it is what it is. So, you know, we wish you all the best from the Crest Autosport family, and I'm pretty sure everyone else will be who's watching as well. Okay, So, if you're interested, well, we've got 27 seconds. We haven't got the feature yet, but go onto our Discord. You can see the streams of Pavel. You can ride on board with Pavel. You can ride on board with Jeff Perkis. That's Scooby Sim Racing. And you can ride on board with, there is one more that's doing it, Fraser Rostance. He's not always live, but Fraser Rostance will upload his onboards within usually 24 hours of the different races. If you've not seen it, go and watch it. It is absolutely brilliant. If you're looking for some help, go and watch Pavel's stream because he streams from start to finish, so you can see his fuel load, his tyres. It's brilliant, absolutely fascinating. I would recommend going to watch that. The warm-up will finish. We will then get the garage. This is where everyone then gets ready. They'll all line up on the grid, and we'll see the top right. The lights will go flashing 10 times, and we'll be racing for race 2 of last week's race. It's a 15-minute race. It's top 10 reversal. Benny Norton is where I'm putting my 50p. If Benny Norton can lead into turn 1 and out of turn 3, he will be the race victory, I believe, failing if he doesn't make a mistake. But Jamie Dory is not going to let him take this lightly at all. Alex Ward is in the middle. Watch out, him, CA2 champion. CA2 category leader at the moment. Watch out for him. I think he's going to make some progress. And then the middle of the field is all going to be kind of near as enough, makes no difference in the middle. I'm your commentator. That's me, Andy Pawley. I will be here for the next about an hour. That's how long it's going to last. Watch the garage. It's going to sort itself out. Then we will go racing. There we go. Lights are all on board. See where we park up the car. Shaw's user, there's some issues in the server already. Benny Norton's on the lead. What can he do from here? He needs to lead into turn 1. Watch the lights go out. 25 drivers. And his lights out and away we go. And Benny Norton has had the perfect start. As Stu Neal has lost a place because Jamie Dory did not lobby up. I think he's had a massive sim twitch and he's lost it. So Benny Norton is currently leading. Stu Neal right behind him. There's a massive accident in the background. Absolute carnage. We got that on stream. We will watch it. They're all sorting themselves out, but Benny Norton's had the perfect start. Pavel McConin, he's ticked the box. Into 4th he goes from 10th. He's going to be wet in his whistle. He's like, yes, I've mugged a lot of you in the background. Perkis, there he is in the 55. He's got Fraser Rostance right behind him. He's absolutely lost a whole hope of points and a whole amount of the rest of it, but right behind that you've got Alex Ward in the number 7. He's making progress. In the background there we've got someone else going off. I think that's Anastasios. No, it's not. It's Carl Smith. He's checked himself out, but Shaw's user has the fast moving Stu Neal right behind him, riding on board now. That behind him is Shaw's user. There is Stu Neal, and there is Pavel McConin. There's Pascal Jean Petra. He's made up into 6th position. 24 cars still driving. Right behind that, Poddy Flack in the number 7. Perkis, slow down penalty. He's gone off the track. There's Craig Deeks in the 79. He's got himself into 10th position, on for his highest finish so far this season as they all stream through to try and complete lap 1. And it's all kicking off. There's Ian Deeney. Ian Deeney, he's also in the Renault Megane, number 7. That bright black one. It's not bright. There it is. Boom. Benny Norton, fastest lap, 1:38.554 confirmed. He's absolutely doing all he can, but look at Michael Clough. He has got Renault. Pavel McConin has got up the inside. That's a very good move. A little bit of a tap there, but nothing untoward. Does he get the job done? Yes, he does. Tick the box. Michael Clough holds 3rd position. Right behind that is Pavel. There he is. He's in the 55. Stu Neal is side by side. He's not letting him forget that he's there. He's sticking in his nose out. And right behind that is Jean Petra. Oh, it's all starting to kick off. Oh, there's contact. There's contact in the background between Poddy Flack and Stu Neal. What happened there? We'll have a look at that on the replay, but Pavel's managed to sort himself out. He's gone down a position, but he's gained 5, started 10th, don't forget. Behind that, you've got Lee Horn is making progress in the 63. He was challenging Butcher for that position. Can he do anything? Jeff Perkis, he's making progress in the 55. Alfa Romeo, he's going to be on the inside, but he's going to have to make a choice. Break early. There's Fraser Rostans. He's in the Peugeot number 7. He's trying to make progress as they're all bouncing off the line, trying to hold on to it just enough. Jamie Dory is a non-starter. Carl Smith is now DNF. Kirby and Deeks, they've run off the road. That's why he's lost a whole host of positions. But Lee Horn is in the middle of this pack, and Fraser Rostans is making progress. Fraser Rostans, right side of your screen. He is the Peugeot riding on board now. But Cloughy is right by Shaw's. He's going for the lead. It is Honda versus... hasn't had an issue. He's still there. He's in second position, holding on to this just enough. What can he do from here? Can he manage to hold on to anything? It's going to be very, very tricky as we get through this right-hander corner. Don't worry about the damage. He's not damaged on the car. It's just the way the game had a little bit of a server ping, and it kicked me and looked all over the place. But he's not got damage. He's still going for you Michael Clough fans. Shaw's holds third position. He started in 7th. He's up to 3rd. Past Jean Petra, lost a position, but he's still going. He's in 15th. He's in the number 15 Honda. He's run wide. He's run wide. Pavel is just licking his chops as he goes up the hill. He ticks the box. Poddy Flack, does he mug him as well? No, he doesn't. So Jean Petra loses 2 places from that little wide corner. And there, Pavel now is up another place. Right, this is the battle for 13th and 14th. No, it's 13th. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. It is. 13th position is Alex Ward. Behind him is Boki in that Alfa Romeo, that number 25. Behind that is Ian Deeney and Rodrigo Portugal. There he is in the number 7 and the 55. They're all trying now to find themselves some space. The field is naturally spread out, but Stu Neal is side by side with Pavel. Pavel's given him just enough room. He's going to leave the door a little bit open. Stu Neal runs off the road. He holds it just enough, tabs the brakes, goes round the outside, and look at Jean Petra. Jean Petra in that number 15. He's going to mug Stu Neal as well. Oh, he pushes him off the road there. That was a little bit cheeky from that. Stu Neal just sails it up the inside. He's got the red mist. He's just got the red mist in Stu Neal's car at the moment. There he is in the 34. He's done that all to himself, to be honest. And then Poddy Flax clouted him up the rear for good measure. Very scruffy there between, unfortunately for Stu Neal. He just needs to slow himself down, calm himself down a little bit, and he will go faster, unless he's carrying damage on board that car. He must be damaged. Let's have a look at the wheel. Is it pointing in the right direction? Well, we're turning on a left-hand corner, so we will be going that way. Pretty much. Paul Hans is side by side with Rodrigo Portugal. This is 16th and 17th as he climbs up the hill. There is Paul Hans in that number 9. Tim Coronel, Honda, the yellow one. That's Ian Deeney's run wide. Ian Deeney's run wide through the hairpin as they're all trying to sort themselves out. It's getting very scruffy in this middle field. It's like it's the last race of the season and they don't care about fixing the car. Ian Deeney's trying to go through the old switcheroo, sends it up the inside of Boki. He's just, Rodriguez, he's just not going to get that. That's going to be reset all over again. Pavel is back on the back of Shaw's user as it stands at the moment. Only 2 drivers currently DNF. That's Carl Smith and Jamie Dory. But there is Portugal Rodriguez right on the rear end. 15th, there's Ian Deeney, and there is Paul Hans. And then the 86 is Anastasios. He's joining up as well. A little bit of a touch there on the back. There's a little bit of scruffiness going on tonight in terms of the racing. There's Rob South in 19th position. He's got Anastasios right above him. They're all trying to sort themselves out, but they're all just a little bit too eager tonight. They just need to take that little bit step back and they'll go that 2 steps further. Right, Russ Butcher is side by side with Lee Horn. Lee Horn is on the left side. He lost out to a top 10 reverse grid last time out because his teammate mugged him, basically. He held him up for the entire race. Lee Horn was then mugged by Jamie Dory and then mugged by the other guy, which was Benny Norton. Confirmation there, Carl Smith, broken suspension, then a DT. So the suspension was the reason Carl Smith didn't finish. A real shame for Carl Smith, he was doing well. But on this day in history, on race 2, he is a nil point. he will have to start back at the grid for race 2, but this is the position for third. So Pavel is in the 55. There is the 15 and 15, so it's Pascal Jean-Petre and Shaw's Yusa, all nose to tail. They are tailing each other. He's trying to get the slipstream through here. Can he do anything? Is he going to sail it up the inside? He's gone for one car's width. He gets the car stopped just enough, but Shaw's has left the doors open. He's left the door open. There's a little bit of a tap between the two of them, but Pavel's still left enough room. But Shaw's will have the inside corner. He will shut the door. That's compromised Pavel. Pavel is the car in the middle. He is the number 55. Boom, that one. The Cupra. There's Honda versus Cupra versus Honda. All nose to tail. Who is going to be victorious? We've got 6 minutes 35 to find out. Halfway around of this lap. It is getting very toasty in there. Let's see where he goes. Michael Clough is on the back of Benny Norton. I am watching that. Paul Hans. These two are side by side. This is the battle for 16th and 17th. Tim Coronel, that is Paul Hans. That's the bright yellow DHL Audi. Right behind that, that is the 55 of Anastasios. Jamie Higgs and Derek Neal are swapping positions in 22nd and 23rd. I think this battle for Portugal is over. Not the country, but the position. There is Michael Clough. There is Benny Norton. This is the battle for the lead. Pavel is still trying to attack the back of Shaw's. They're going to come into your picture momentarily, and I think it is going to be reset all over again. Pavel he always goes around the outside into the hairpin. He's just not going to get round there. And then he has to then try and slip up to the slipstream of the back of Shaw's, but Shaw's just goes, hey, you're not coming through here. You're going to have to pick a completely different line to get through there. So the question is, what does he do now? What can he do from this position? Looking at the helicopter view here, he's just tapped the brake ever so slightly, but he doesn't touch the back of him, and it's reset all over again. As they go now through the left-hander, which is actually a right-hander, as he holds onto that position, it's reset all over again. We have got the callings of last week's race of Benny Norton, Jamie Dorey and Lee Horn, who were stuck in this position for the entire of the race. But there is Boki, there is Ian Deeney. This is the battle for 14th and 15th. Stu Neal is on the back of Podiflack for 6th and 7th. We're keeping an eye on that as it unfolds. But this is the battle for 15th. The riding now on board from the rear camera of Boki. There you can see Ian Deeney, the third Renault Megane, the only number 7 Renault Megane in the field this time out, and he is absolutely trying to do the best he can, but he's just not getting past. Boki did a stellar defense last time out at the TT Assen circuit in season 7, so he knows how to defend the car, but the question is he going to run out of time? Is he going to run out of road? Not today. Down the corkscrew, 4 minutes 20 seconds to leave. Right, back at the front battle. Michael Clough riding on board with him now. He's right on the back of Benny Norton. There is Benny Norton in first position. He wants to get his second win of the season. So does Michael Clough. They're both after the double today. Can they do it? As we go through into the Andretti hairpin, riding on board now. Benny Norton just parks it on the apex. He just lets off the accelerator ever so slightly, and then that causes Michael Clough to lose that distance. And then he's almost a car's length ahead through this section of the racetrack. But Michael Clough is then mighty fast because he's flipped it. He's flipped it on 2 wheels. Is that it? Has that cost Benny Norton the position? Has that cost Benny Norton the lead? He hasn't got the momentum. Michael Clough thinking better of it. He nearly lost it there. This is the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th. Shaw's Yusa in the number 15, the front Honda. Pavel in the 55, riding now back from Jean-Petre. These three all race together on a league on a Sunday. So they all know each other's strengths and weaknesses, where they can extract, where they can apply the pressure into the corners, but it's not going to work, I don't think. Pavel in second. There is Jean-Petre. Jean-Petre is trying to fire up his championship hopes after losing out half of basically the first half of the season. We're on week 4. He's lost seasons 1, 2 and races 1, 2 and 3. So he's really going to struggle from there. Pavel looks like he's got a bit of a run now, riding on board, but Shaw's places it through the right-hand side. Oh, nearly takes the curb. He does that. He'll be DQing himself. He's got the inside. He's going to have to be brave now. Takes a massive brave pill. Gets the corner done. Leaves just enough room. That one mistake from Shaw's could have cost him a podium position, but he doesn't have the ballast on board. And Pascal Jean-Petre is pushing Pavel along. He's given him a turbo boost, and that's allowed Pavel from that beautiful corner into the final corner, and the push from Pascal Jean-Petre has resulted in Pavel being into third position. Fantastic. Now he has to make hay. He has to get this job done and has to break away from these three cars. We'll watch that as it unfolds. Ian Deeney. Alex Ward is on his own, but Ian Deeney is once again attacking the back of Boki. There's Boki riding on board now with Ian Deeney. He's in the number 14. He's in 14th. He's in the number 7. Renault Megane. There is the 25 of Boki. That Alfa Romeo is trying to come along. Alex Ward is in 15th. He is pushing. He's right behind. Just ahead, the lead for the battle is unfolding. Fraser Rostance is on the move. We'll see that as it unfolds. And Anastasios and Portugal are side by side. Whoa, a little bit of a naughty tap there, and he's done that to himself, unfortunately. Poor Rod Portugal. We'll have a look at that post-race. I think he did that all to himself, to be perfectly honest. He had no one there but himself. Boki's on his own, trying to hold on to that. He's in 14th. Ian Deeney has finally cleared him. So he's down to 14th position. Michael Clough and Benny Norton, I think, are holding station. This will be the last lap, I think, unless Michael Clough wants to try and push him for another position. I think Benny Norton, I think they're going to be holding position. I don't think they want to lose any points. They don't want to do anything silly. They've had a good race. We will go back to the opening start. I think they've managed to sort themselves out. Riding on board now with Michael Clough through the right hander we go. Needs to keep it nice and tidy. Yeah, he's just letting off. I don't think there's a whole host of points going in the background. Lee Horn is on the back of Poddy Flack. Poddy Flack is in 16th. He's in 6th position. Riding on board with him now, there is Lee Horn. Stu Neal is closing in as well. Riding on board with Stu Neal down to that front camera. Michael Clough is right on the back of Benny Norton. Through the left-hander we go. There's a sausage curve that will kill the car if you go onto it. Lee Horn is going to attempt to go around the back of Poddy Flack, but I just don't think that's going to be possible from this position. He runs very wide there. Lee Horn will get a slow-down penalty. The question is, has that cost him? But Benny Norton has Michael Clough all over his rear end, and he's let the door open here. He needs to go wide. He's gone wide. He's gone wide. He just needs to stay left. He doesn't need to be the fastest man on the corner. He just needs to cross the line quick enough to get away from Michael Clough. Has he done it? Has he managed to get away? No, he hasn't. It's a drag race to the end. Is he going to take it? Has he? Who's taken the win? Who's won? Benny Norton's taken the race victory, followed by Michael Clough. Jeff Perkins is going to bring the home car. He'll bring his car home in 10th. Craig Deeks behind him. Paul Hans. Once he cleared Rodrigo Portugal, he properly got away with it, and he just disappeared. Away into this. He's done a stellar job. Is he going to pass another car to the line? No, he is not. Bringing it home, there's Roy Plummer in another number 8. Fantastic looking car. Martin Kirby coming home in 19th. Jamie Higgs is 21st. Rob South will bring it home in 23rd. And Derek Neal, he is father to Stu Neal, will bring the car home in 23rd. Carl Smith, as he came on stream, said broken suspension, then a DQ, and Jamie Dory was a non-starter, so he gets 0 points. A real shame for him. I don't know if his server went south or something went wrong. 0 points. So that's how it stacks up. All race results are provisional, but Benny Norton is your race winner. Fastest lap is Michael Clough. Pavel is 3rd. Jean-Petre is 4th. Shaw's User is 5th. Poddy Flack is 6th. Lee, Neal, Butcher, Perkis, Deeks, Rostance, Deeney, Boki. Alex Ward will start on pole position for race 3. He has a real opportunity to take a race 3 victory here. So I know he's going to be wanting that. He's just got to get round through turn 1. Anastasios, Hans, Portugal, Plummer, Kirby, Higgs, South, Neal. Smith down in 24th was a DNF because of suspension, and Jamie Dory did not even start the race, which is a real shame, because he was up. He was going to be there. Right. Welcome back. We're going to go across to, hopefully this thing will actually load up. Yeah, it's going to load up. We have to go into the library, and we're going to have a look at some of these, this PC. Someone's going to have to tell me where I put the stored it. And we're going to see if we can load We're going to see if we can load the replays. Yes, we have the replays. Fantastic stuff. Right, I think they're resetting the server as it stands at the moment. So they'll reset the server, which is a fantastic option. And then we will go back in. Right, so while that's sorting itself out at the moment, let's have a look at the start. Now, what I want to look at is, so Benny Norton gets a great start. Now, he's very lucky because the second place driver should have been here. So he was very, very lucky not to have Jamie Dorey, because I think Jamie Dorey, that Honda has a mighty start. So I would think that Jamie Dorey would have taken the lead going into that position if he had managed to do it. So yeah, it's going to be very, very tricky, I think, to go from there. We're just waiting for the service to refresh itself, and then we will go from there. We might go back and hit multiplayer, see if it loads itself up. Right. It's having a wobble, I think. So he manages to get a good start. Let's just go forward. So he's got nobody on his inside. Now, there's Jamie Dorey. I want to see what happens. So there's a couple of things that happen on the... Oh, it's just very scruffy. Very scruffy. So what kicks it off? So there's a couple of things that go wrong. Unfortunately, it just looks like it's one of those things. It's very tricky to see. So I think it's Stu Neal. So there's Stu Neal. And he tabs the back of Benny. So just looking at that at the moment, he tabs the back of Benny. And then the other one that happens, so he tabs the back of Benny, that shoots him off into the distance, so he goes that way, and that's the end of that, basically, and then he struggles to regain. And then Fraser Rostance, which is a real shame, someone just goes into the back of him. Yep. Now, we'd have to have a look a bit more on the onboards, onto what would happen on that particular moment. But, yeah, he just goes into the back of him and dents him, really, to go from there. So it's very, very tricky, I think. So he just goes forward and just dents him, basically, yeah. And then Fraser Rostance from that point, there's Fraser Rostance. He just goes into the back and he just gets a dent. It's a tough one. It's going to be about who started the contact. Because if he starts the contact and because of that he loses a load of places, yeah, that's a tricky one. You'd need more onboards, which we don't have access to. So the Stu Neal, that's an instant I think he did all to himself. Fraser Rostance, it's very tricky. You'd have to look at the breaking points on the contact. And, yeah, it's one of those, really. If there's no contact from the car behind, then basically Fraser Rostance loses out. It's a driving standards thing, and it would be up for the stewards. But the other incident that goes on in the middle of the field, Paul Hans I don't know what happens to Paul Hans. So you've got Roy Plummer, who's here, and he just goes onto the grass. And he goes onto the grass, and that's the end. And he slides. And what you'll see is he slides this way, and that starts it. And Paul Hans here has an accident all by himself. There's nobody else there but him, and he just has an accident all by himself, to be honest. And that causes it. So it's a bit of a tricky one, I think, going forward. Yeah, and then, so Roy Plummer, does he actually make contact? Somehow, Roy Plummer makes zero contact with anybody. So Roy Plummer goes, we're going to go forward a bit. Roy Plummer goes like this and hits absolutely nobody. So I don't think there's any... that was an accident he had all by himself. It's just unlucky. He put two wheels on the grass and round he went. So I don't think there would be any action for him. Paul Hans, he has an accident by himself. Again, it's more of a driving standards because Paul Hans hits here, but he then straightens himself out, and that car doesn't lose any positions. So, yeah, it's one of those, really. Do I think it's a bit of a scruffy start? Yes, 100%. Do I think there's anything to it? No, really. It just needs to sort itself out, to be perfectly honest. We're still waiting for the server for some unknown reason, so I don't know what's happened there. We will do a little shot to see if we can find it, and see where we go from there. But at the moment, yeah, we've got no server as it stands. These are live events. So they happen as is, basically. So just trying to find out where the server is, because at the moment there isn't one, which is a bit of a shame, but that's just the way it is sometimes. We'll just take out a couple of the letters, and we'll hit refresh and see if anything pops up, because it could actually be my computer that's now decided to, completely have a crash, which is very helpful of it, to be perfectly honest with you. So we're going to quickly exit the game, and we'll quickly go back in. These things happen, they're live events, and then we will go back over to the analysis, and we'll have a look at that. So we will go back into RACEROOM, and we'll have a quick look and see what is happening. Let's go, while that loads itself up, let's have a look at the overtake from Pavel, this was mighty. So Pavel goes along, there is Pavel, he keeps going, and he goes, and he goes, and he goes, and he goes, and he just sets him up. So Shaw's here goes wide. He actually takes the wide line, so he's going over there. Pavel just keeps his car dead straight, which is all he needed to do. He didn't need to do anything else. He didn't need to go any further. There we go. For some reason, it has started. It just kicked me out. But that's okay. There's 25 of 36 drivers in there. So we'll go straight across into the next race, and we will find out why it's going on, which is very tricky. But there we go. Race has started. The guys are off. It's 13 minutes 43. Alex Ward is still leading. No idea why it didn't work, but it just completely crashed itself. We'll remember that for next time. But over to the live racing that we go. So Alex Ward is leading. Frost Dance is second. Boki's third. Jean Petra. There's no real movements at the moment. We didn't miss anything, but Alex Ward has that gap. There's 23 drivers in at the moment. Perkis is up to 6th. Pavel is in 11th. He would have started in 12th position, but he's up to 11th. Absolutely great stuff from him, as he's in the middle of that field, but all the cars are still loading as it holds on at the minute. Through the left-hander we go. Where is Russ Butcher? There he is. Russ Butcher is in the middle of the pack. He's between the car in front and the car behind, so he's really holding on to that. There is Pavel. He's right on the back of Portugal, with Lee Horn just ahead. There's Lee Horn riding on back now from Lee Horn in 9th position. There's Lee Horn. Behind that in 10th is Portugal Rodriguez. Behind that is Pavel, and there is Benny Norton. He has got the Russ Butcher, number 30, right behind him. Hold instead at the moment. Jeff Perkis is trying to get past Michael Clough and Stu Neal. Those two are teammates. That is the 233 and 34. Renault Megane. There's Perkis in 7th position. What can he do from here? He's right on the rear end, holding on to all he needs to do. From the left side he goes. No heroics. He's going to lose that position unless he can get himself up in. He's gone wide. He's gone wide. That's going to cost him. Has he got the car on the road? Just enough, but he was on the attack. Now he's on the defence from Lee Horn and Pavel. There's Pavel. He's made another position. Into 10th he goes. He's going to be absolutely wanting to push this ahead of everybody else. What can he do here? Needs to build this up. Hold on to it nice and tidy. Down the gearbox he goes. Into 2nd. Down the left-hander. Getting a little bit of squirmy in the middle of the pack, but he's doing all he can do. Shaw's User is on the side of Paul Hans. Shaw's User is in 16th position. He would have been top 3, but he's lost out on the opening. But ahead of that is Paul Hans in 15th. Jamie Dory and Rob South are currently non-starting. through the left-hander hairpin we go. No heroics here, just needs to be nice and tidy. Does he keep it on the tarmac? Yes, he does. Paul Hans is on the left. Oh, there's a little bit of a tap there between Shaw's. Could get a penalty for that one. Very naughty, but he's just ticked the box. He's on the move. So we'll see how that pans out. Craig Deeksler's on the back of Stu Neal. Craig Deek is in 7th position. This would be his highest finishing position. Jean Petra and Boki are trading places. They have replaced, but here's Craig Deek riding now from the rear camera of Stu Neal. He is in 6th position, but Pascal is on the side-by-side with Boki. Boki's on the 25. Alex Ward is 0.5 a second ahead of Fraser Rostans, who lost out in the opening race 2. So he's going to really want to think about what he can do from here. Down the gearbox, down into 2nd, into the hairpin he goes. Left down the hill to right side. Needs to keep it nice and tidy here. Do nothing stupid, no silliness, and keep the car on the tarmac. Jean Petra is just not got the speed at the moment. I wonder if he, well, no, because he's not, his teammates to nobody, so he's just not really getting the speed. Lee Horn is also a roadblocker. There's Lee Horn, he's in the number 10. He hasn't got Jamie Dory, his next-gen rival. There's the number 30. Oh, he's made contact. It's that Butcher. Butcher had an accident all by himself. And that's cost Benny Norton and it's cost Portugal. It's benefited Portugal, but it's cost Benny Norton. So Benny Norton, who was race 2 winner, has cost him that position. So he's now holding on 12th position. Roy Plummer and Ian Deeney are now nose to tail as well. We're keeping an eye on that as it unfolds. Cloughy's on the back of Boki. He's going to be the next guy to pass that, but Alex Ward is nearly a second ahead of Fraser Rostans. There is Michael Clough riding on the back. Oh, Boki's run wide. Boki's run wide. That's just released the fast. I think he's broken the car. Very rough there from Stu Neal. A bit of a poor sideways. Just bangs into the side of him. I think Boki's broken the car, you know, because that is a very slow-moving car. There's Pavel down in 9th position. He's making progress, lap after lap, corner after corner. Craig Deek will get a slowdown penalty for going off there. 9 minutes to go. So he needs to look after what he's doing if he's going to be any sensible. Down the gearbox through the left-hander. No heroics here. Holds on to it just enough. There's Craig Deeks. He is in 7th, riding on board now. You can see riding on board now with Jeff Perkis. He is attacking the man ahead and defending from the man behind. So he's got his mirrors full and his target set sight on number 7 of Craig Deek. Pavel has closed the gap. Shaw's is on the back of Portugal. Pavel's just gone up the ins. Oh, that was very scruffy there from Pavel. Very scruffy there from Pavel. Has he given the position back? Yes, he has. He'd have to do that, I think, because if he didn't, he could have ended up with a penalty for that type of action. So he just needs to slow down a little bit. He's making progress. His nearest championship rival, Alex Ward, is not racing. So he's Boki's just let him through. Boki's just let him through. No, sorry, Jeff Perkis has let him through. Jeff, come on. He had the pace there. He was putting Pavel, but Pavel's going to have to now take this opportunity. He gave the position back, which was the right thing to do, but he's now got to get away from Perkis, because if he doesn't, he's going to be in a right old trouble. And already he's gapped him by 0.8 of a second, so he's making a little bit of a progress from that. Michael Clough is on the back of Perkis. Portugal Rodriguez has got his mirrors full with Shaw's and Paul Hans. But Michael Clough and John Petra are side by side going up the hill to the corkscrew. He's got the job done, but I don't think John Petra is going to give that up. Fraser Rostans has closed the gap to Alex Ward to 0.3 of a second, but Michael Clough is 1.9 seconds away from second place man Fraser Rostans. Let's see how that develops. Pavel is on the back of Deeks. He's on the side of Deeks. He takes the position. This man is on the move tonight. Now he just needs to cement that position. He needs to get on. Benny Norton's also on the side of Lee Horn. There's Benny Norton now up into 10th position. This is where he finished in race 1 last week out. He finished first in race 2. He wants to make progress because he is in a championship battle now with Pavel, because those two are absolutely nose to tail at this particular moment. So it's going to be very tricky what he can do from here. Into the Andretti hairpin, down the gearbox, 5th, 4th, 3rd, into 2nd. Holds it nice and tidy. But Lee Horn held up Benny Norton for the entire of last week's race. So it's going to be game over, game on, all over again. Anastasios down in 23rd. He's kind of running around on his own, but he's doing great progress. Carl Smith broke his suspension. There he is. He's making progress. Danger Racing Squad. I believe his teammates to Bill Campion, who is not currently racing tonight. Jamie Higgs, there he is in 16th. He's fighting down Portugal. Portugal's in the 55. Sayat Cupra. A little bit of run wide there from Jamie Higgs. Ian Deeney in that black Renault Megane. He's now hounding and giving him some pace. Right, Lee Horn is now on side by side with Craig Deeks. Benny Norton is going to attempt to follow him through as well. Can he do anything from here? This is very tricky. Craig Deeks runs wide. No, he doesn't. He doesn't run wide, so he holds onto that position. But it's not the optimal line because Benny Norton has now gone side by side. He's gone round. Craig Deeks now has Poddy Flack up his inside. They're all just following each other through. A little bit of a tap there. Nothing untoward. Gets the job done. Poddy will go defensive to the left side at the hairpin. As we ride on board now from Benny Norton. There you can see Benny ticks the job done. Poddy gets the job done. Fraser Rostans is going to get mugged by Michael Clough. There's Michael Clough in the 33, but Fraser Rostans on the brakes was absolutely mighty. He just committed full send to that and went, hey, you're not coming through. Alex is trying to do his best for his teammate. His teammate is just ahead, leaves just enough room. It's still not all go. He's flashing the lights, so we'll have a little look at that post-race. Absolutely nose-to-tail action, and they're all now backing up behind Fraser Rostans. But he's still got Michael Clough with him. There he is in the 33. Behind that is Jean Petra. Behind that, Stu Neal. This is the battle for second. But Alex Ward is doing a stellar job at the moment. Fraser Rostans has, there's contact. Ooh, that was very naughty there from Fraser Rostans. I think he did push him a bit wide. That's allowed Jean Petra to go. I'm not sure why he's flashing his lights, but I hit the button. We will have a look post-race. Plenty to look at post-race. Michael Clough has managed to get back ahead of Fraser Rostans. It is all kicking off, riding on board with Fraser Rostans. There is the 33 of Cloughy. Behind that, Jean Petra. And there's Stu Neal in the 34. It is Renault, Honda, Renault, Peugeot. It is all kicking off. There's Pavel. He's making stellar progress. They're not going to get through there. Riding on board now with Stu Neal at the back of this melee, back of the pack. He's in 5th position. There is 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. You can see first. They can see first. Momentarily ahead, they're all trying to do what they can do, so it's going to be tricky here. Down the gearbox, through the left-hander we go. No heroics, needs to keep it nice and tidy. Fraser Rostans runs a little bit wide. There's contact, is it enough? No, it isn't. It's managed to hold on just enough. Perkis is on the back of Deeks. I'm watching that as it unfolds. 23 cars started, 23 car races. Fraser Rostans is doing everything he can do to get his teammate Alex Ward, the CA2 current championship leader, this victory. Fraser Rostans has just thrown caution to the wind here and he's gone, I'm going. He's going defensive. He's just causing a massive problem for everybody, but he's doing enough. He doesn't need to do anything more. He just needs to hold this position, hold tight as it develops. Whoa, he's run wide. I'm not sure where Cloughy's going around there. The rage in Cloughy is just getting more and more. He's run wide. This is it. This is the opportunity now to take that position. This is what he's got to do. Butcher's got to slow down penalty. Kirby's on the back of Neal. This is the back of 20th. Perkis is on the back of Deeks. I say he's on the back of the Deeks. He's on the side of Craig Deeks. There's Perkis in the 55. There's the 79 of Craig Deeks. These two have been nose to tail for the last 15 minutes. Well, 13 minutes 48 because I didn't see the start of the race. But there we go. One of those things that happens in touring cars. We are live and that's what happens. So Craig Deeks has gone wide. He's gone defensive into the hairpin. That's a bit of a... Yeah, he's let him go. Benny Norton's on the side of Lee Horn, but Lee's just going to go up the inside. That Honda just has a better drive, but Fraser is now attempting to go, but Jean Petra is now attempting to attack. There's Pavel. He's joined the back of the queue in that number 55. He's there rubbing his hands, licking his chops here. He's thinking, if you lot take yourself out, I'll go from 6th to 2nd, tick the box, extend my championship further. Benny Norton's one car behind with Boki. He's side by side. Boki's going to go up the inside Absolutely sensational stuff. Benny Norton needs to get past Boki and Lee Horn in the next 1 minute 39 if he's got any opportunity of getting up to the next position, because Alex Ward is currently, Alex Everett is not racing tonight, so races 2 and 3 are not being undertaken for him. He is going to lose a host of championship points at this moment. There's Anastasios, he's side by side with Derek Neal. These two have been battling each other as well. He's got that job done. We'll see. Kirby's run wide, Neal's run wide, but Cloughy and Jean Petra are side by side. Jean Petra is in the number 15. 1 minute 4 to go. This will be the last lap. Could this be Alex Ward's victory this season out? He has driven superbly from the start of the race. His teammate Fraser Rostance, there goes Pavel, that's a very audacious move. He's got the car stopped, he's banging on the tarmac. That's very scruffy between both of them. Neal just doesn't straighten the... it's very scruffy from both of them. I don't think there's anything in between those two. They're just being very scruffy. Pavel just needs to just calm down a little bit. So does Stu Neal. So they're both just a bit scruffy. Clough is now on the side of Rostance, but Rostance doesn't need to do any more. Rostance has done everything he's designed to do. He's been the perfect teammate to Alex Ward this time out. 2.4 seconds. Alex Ward's lead is from Fraser Rostance. That's it. Fraser Rostance runs wide. That will be game over. How many positions does he lose? He's lost one to Cloughy. Does he lose another one to Jean Petra in the Honda? That number 15. He gets it done just enough. No, he doesn't. He doesn't lose the position. He holds it and holds it and holds it. And that's Jean Petra's been pushed back once again. So is Fraser Rostance going to take the third position? But Alex Ward, as he follows round, we will quickly flip to him depending on how this unfolds in this section. No, they've all stayed. So Alex Ward is going to take a victory in the World Touring Car Challenge, the Race 3 Master. He always does his best results in Race 3, and he's gone one step further. At Brands Hatch, he was third. Last time out, he's never finished higher than third this season, and he goes and takes another win, another different winner. Cloughy second, Rostance is third, Jean Petra, Neal, Pavel, Lee Horn, Benny Norton, Podiflak, Boki, Perkish, Shaw's, Deeks, Hans, D&E Higgs, Portugal, Butcher, Plummer, Kirby, Anastasios, Neal and Smith. Carl Smith will bring this home. He had a damage to his suspension in race 2 tonight, and that's cost him dearly this time out, but he brings the home car home in 2030s just after those points. At the end of the day, the points equal prizes, and that's what he wants. He needs the prizes. So he's ticked that box. Fantastic stuff as he comes across the line. Absolutely brilliant stuff from him. And there is a confirmation of your provisional results. Alex Ward is first, Cloughy, Rostance, Jean Petra, Neal, Pavel, Lee, Benny, Flack, Boki, Perkish, Shaw's, Deeks, Hans, D&E Higgs, Portugal, Butcher, Plummer, Kirby, and then Anastasios, Neal, Smith, Dory and South did not start. And that's how it stacks up for tonight. Benny Norton takes the fastest lap in that race. Alex Ward is your race winner. Absolutely sensational stuff. The championship is completely blown open. Hello, welcome. I completely missed the start of the race. I do apologise. We're going to have to look at that in terms of me getting kicked out of the server. Is one of those things. So we're going to have to look at how I can resolve that for next time. But we were quick thinking. We were super fast. We got back in. We only really missed the first lap. It didn't really kick off in that first lap anyway, so we didn't miss a lot, pretty much holding stations. But after that, it was all to play for. So we're going to have a quick look to see if there's anybody on the old Discord chat. There is not. So we're going to go across to the replay analysis, and let's have a quick look at some of the replays that we've got. So this was the replay we were looking at before, which was the Pavel overtake. No, I don't want to save that. Oh, it starts now. That's brilliant. I think this was the contact. So this was Cloughy and Rostance together. So let's have a quick look at this. I don't think there was anything in that. Yeah, it was a bit... You could argue that was a bit naughty, to be honest, because you do have to leave a car's width. You have to leave a car's width. That is the regulation. And as we go here, he just doesn't. That's just not a car's width. You can see here that there is the edge of the circuit. So he doesn't actually leave a car's width. How would I judge that? It's a driving standards. There might be a penalty involved in that one. I don't know. I'm not the steward. Ultimately, Cloughy did get past Fraser Rostance in the end. Did it cost him the victory? I don't know, because this is 4 minutes 48 to go, and Alex just drove superbly. So I think that's a bit naughty, but it is what it is. And that one, if it is submitted, will be one for the stewards to look at. This was another one that we had in here as well. So if we go back. So, yeah, they were kind of banging into each other, really. I mean, it was... I'm not sure why he was flashing his lights here, to be perfectly honest. So there was nothing wrong here. He gets through there absolutely fine. A little bit of a touch there, but nothing I would say that's too naughty. He leaves a car's width. So if we go that backwards a little bit. Fraser has left a car's width, so I'm not sure. Fraser also takes a line. He goes down here, which is fine, and there's enough room there. So, yeah, he actually pulls out. I don't think there's any contact between them there. No, there isn't. I mean, he doesn't have to yield the position. Now, the only thing is that there could have been slight contact there, but I can't see. Again, I can't see. But again, he's entitled to the track, and he's entitled to leave a car's width. Now, which is the white line and the track. So he doesn't push him off, because Cloughy still goes that way and Rostance still goes that way. So it's a bit tough, but he leaves him enough space. And leaves him enough space there. And then Cloughy still could have put it in, so I don't think there's really anything into that. I think it's a little bit scruffy, but I don't think there's really a penalty. That's more of a, I think you both just need to calm down. That's how I would read that one. It was very scruffy, I think, would be the race tonight. But again, that does tend to happen. Not as many drivers in there. I think, so this is the Butcher incident. So there's Butcher. Well, there would be Butcher if I could highlight him. Come on. There's Butcher. Now, all that happens to Butcher is he has an accident all by himself. Now, I know he's been having brake troubles in terms of the pedal feel, so he's not been able to slow the car quick enough. So I'm not sure if he realises he's not stopping the car at that point. And the only place he's going to go, if he maintains the current trajectory, he's going to go into the backs of Lee Horn. So what he does, which is very commendable, he drives the car that way, he finds the gap, and then he gets spun. But there's nothing, I think, there's nothing he can complain about. He did that, yeah. He did that all to himself, to be perfectly honest. He comes across, now it could be that it's either brakes, and he couldn't brake properly, and as a result, that's resulted in it. If he's come across, he spun himself, which is a bit silly. But because of the issues I know he's been having with his brakes, I purely think it's all down to his brakes. There is a position lost there. Portugal does lose a position to Poddy Flack, so you could argue that there would be a penalty of 1.1 position deducted from the 55. It's a tough one. In the regulation of the rule, then yes, there would be a penalty, because the regulation is that he was alongside, but he turns into him into the corner. Yes, the brakes will be. It all depends, again, on the onboards and the choices if he has an accident or doesn't have an accident. So I think that one will be quite tricky, I think, for the stewards to decide. What have we got? Yeah, so it is what it is. I want to try and find Pavel's move. So this was race 2. And this was absolutely clinical on shore. So this is race 2, the first race of the evening. Now, this is where we were looking at before. So what happens is Shaw's, who is the Honda ahead, takes a line to the outside of the corner. Now, Pavel, and this is experience. basically goes, if he's going right, I'm going to go dead straight, and he brakes a fraction of a second later. So he's gone right. Shaw's is now has to go over there. He's made his defensive move. Pavel has got an entire track ahead of him, and he's got two choices here. He has to trust Shaw's will brake, because if he doesn't, it's going to be a massive accident. And Shaw's sees him coming, leaves him just enough room, one car's width, which is in the regulation, and he's allowed to do, and Pavel gets the car stopped. And what's even more amazing is there is no contact through that corner. Pavel then runs wide a little bit, but again, Shaw's has run wide. So Pavel did not push him wide. Shaw's has run wide all by himself. And then Pavel then starts to go this way to allow Shaw's back onto the track. So it's just a clinical move. I think inside Shaw's will be gutted, because he'll be like, I can't believe I lost that position, because if I just stayed defensive, he would have done it. But equally, he's got to be very chuffed, because that was a very good overtaking maneuver. It was clinical all the way through. So that was worth it, to be perfectly honest. This was again, race 2, which was the first race of the evening. Yeah, that was a bit there. So this is Jean Petra, who's there. Sorry, it's that one. So that's Jean Petra. He's there. Oh, we don't know what's going on here. Never mind. And he just runs. I'm not sure what he's doing here. Stu Neal is on the inside, so he's entitled to the corner. Stu Neal's entitled to that piece of tarmac. And Jean Petra just goes like that. I don't know if he didn't see him or if something happened, but yeah, he just clouts him and puts him on the road. Again, very scruffy. But he had made the overtake, so did he lose a position because of the overtake? No. I don't think he did. Do I think there's a penalty for that? It's a tough one. It's all going to come down to the wheels. Because if Jean Petra is turning for the corner, it's a trickier one. But if he keeps it dead straight to hit that apex, you know, Stu is entitled to that part of the track. So that's going to be a tricky one, I think, if they look at it. Do I think there's going to be a lot of incidents? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I think there is. I don't know what it is. It just seems to have been very scruffy tonight. One of those things. There's always one of those in every race season that we see, to be perfectly honest. And I think that's it for this season. So it's just one of those, really. Next week, I'm going to try and sort out what went on. Something went wrong with my race room, so something's running in the background that I need to fix. We only missed a short period, so that's not too bad. But again, it looks like race room had a complete meltdown. So we might have to, at the end of next race, log out and log back in really quickly. But yeah, really good. Brilliant stuff. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I don't think there's any drivers in the commentary box. Yes, there is. Alex is in the commentary box. So we're going to go across to the commentary box if it loads itself up properly, because sometimes it doesn't actually do that, which I don't think it's doing at the moment. Let's have a look. No, the entire system has decided it does not want to do anything I want it to do. That's very helpful, isn't it? Thank you very much, commentary box. Right, we're going to go into the waiting room and see if I can pick the audio up from here. Let's hit that one and see if this works. I think I actually have to join the room. Hold on. You'd think this would work, but it is what it is. So we're going to try and talk to Alex, who was our race winner in that race. These things never work out properly, do they? Right, so we're in the voice channel. There we go. Now we're talking. We're going to see if we can get into that voice channel. Yes, we finally got there. It's live. As I say, it's a complete live event. And because it's live, we always have these issues. We don't do anything pre-scripted, so it's always live. Right, we're going to see if we can talk to Alex. Alex, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Good evening, Andrew.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us. I think you're the first person or second person this season to join us in the commentary box. Well done on your race 3 victory.
Thank you very much. But it feels like a long time coming, to be honest. So
I've always said that you're the race 3 master. You did very well at Brands Hatch. That was on the podium, I believe.
It was, yeah. It was
third in the end, I think, there, and then you did very well the next week out. But you'd always had a little bit. So, a couple of things I want to go through first. Obviously, you started on pole for race 3.
Yeah.
Any strategy that you had, or was it a case of just get through turn 1 cleanly? I didn't pick it up because something went wrong with RACEROOM, so we didn't pick up the start. So take us through that opening lap.
Yeah, so for me, it's always the same strategy if you get race 3 pole, and that is just to break away as best as you can and let everyone else scuffle behind you and gain as much traction as you can up the road. And that seemed to work this time.
So were you managing the car? Because at one point you were nearly 2 seconds ahead of Fraser Rostance.
Yeah.
Were you just say, look, just drive my drive, just hot lap it lap after lap, or were you still looking in your mirrors?
I was pushing all the way through, and fair play to Fraser, he had my back all the way through that race. He just kept the other guys, kept the wolves at the door, and he fought his own battle just to allow me to get away even further. So that was really good team sport from Fraser.
I was talking to Fraser on Facebook, and I think I did mention at some point he's going to have to make the choice between going for the CA1 and helping you to be victorious in CA2. Because your current championship leader, Kozlov, unfortunately isn't racing with us for the rest of the season, so it means that you've got a huge extension now, but you've got to get those, it's all about getting those finishes in. So is it a track you enjoy, this one, or did you do some extra practice between last week or this week?
No, not at all. I don't get much time to practice.
Turned up, went to hold my beer, and then drove off.
Absolutely. Laguna is a track I enjoy. I do like Laguna. I always have done. But for a front-wheel drive car, it is extremely hard to get the car set up right. It's so inconsistent. But struggled in. Well, we say race 1. It was actually race 2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, we struggled in race 2 with a bit of suspension damage from a bit of contact in the start of that. But the car was, once you got the car back into full working condition, it really comes to life again. So thoroughly enjoyed race 3.
So did you? Was it one of those again? Just going back to race 3 again. You're saying obviously you were hot lapping. Was there a real worry at some point that if Michael Clough had cleared Fraser 2 laps before, that he could have caught you?
Absolutely. Cloughy he's rapid. There's no two ways about it. That boy is on fire. So I was very much keeping an eye on what was going on behind, because I knew if Cloughy got past Fraser a little bit too soon, he would have definitely caught me. No doubt about it.
So let's just go back to... it was a brilliant drive from yourself and Fraser. I think you'd be buying that man a beer, to be honest.
Absolutely.
To be honest, for that race. So just go back to last week, obviously, which was the race 1. Did you do lots of practice then? And you were talking about setup and the challenges in setup. Do you just take us through that in terms of if you can, because I know a lot of the setups are kept secret.
Yeah.
In that way, do you put enough fuel in the car? Do you fuel it to go? Is it a case of I just want to get round and not get, damage?
Do you want me to be brutally honest?
Yeah.
I don't do any practice. Fraser does all the setup and then sends it across to me, and I just run with it and do my best.
Well, okay, fair enough. Again, it shows you what you can do in race 3. It's always fascinated me how well you do in race 3.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Because it seems, and there was I used to commentate on a gentleman, I forget his name now. It's going to come to me. And in races 1 and 2, he was just nowhere. And that's not a disrespect. It's just he couldn't qualify consistently. If there was a race 2 and he did qualify well, a bit like yourself, that you couldn't maintain it for some reason. And then race 2 was kind of nowhere. And then race 3, top 5, bosh, away you go. It's like you sniff the victory and you disappear.
Yeah, I'm rubbish at hot lapping, so qualifying's not a strong point for me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I need some better equipment, more practice. I don't have a clue, but I've just never been very good at qualifying, and then find myself sort of in the thick of the scuffling, if you like, for the first 2 races. But I find my racecraft is better than my qualifying, so I tend to do all right when I can settle down in a race.
And is that because it's that whole thing of that because you can follow somebody else? Because usually you're obviously in the mid pack in races 1 and 2. Is that because you can follow somebody else so you can get that consistency going?
I think there's a little bit of that, but I think it's more because your mindset changes when you're into a race. So you are looking to gain position rather than just setting lap times, and you see it quite a lot where there's guys that are extremely fast in qualifying. But put him into a pack of cars and they crumble. So you've got 2 ends of the spectrum really. You've got the guys that are just are fast whatever they're presented with.
Yeah.
You've got the guys that are really fast but not so good in a race, and then you've got the guys that are no good at hot lapping but can do better in a race, which I think is where I fall.
But that's exciting though, because it means it just means that you can push forward in a race.
It does, yeah.
And
you never know what's coming.
Exactly, and I mean, and this season so far just seems to be. I mean, so far we've run with 25 cars. So far, that's this to today. It just seems to be absolutely. It just means a completely different ball game at the moment. It's that you get these breakaway groups, and then they break away, and it's a real struggle to get away to the next group. Yeah. Are you finding that as well, or is it a case of that's not what we're seeing?
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with that, and everybody's. This is purely just a hobby for all of us. So for a lot, everybody's got different real life scenarios that affect how much practice they can do. You know, some of the guys they're practicing every night all week, whereas some of us are, we're literally jumping on at 8:30 and banging half an hour practicing and going for it. So I think a combination of those things, and of course everybody's got their favourite tracks that they are naturally better on. It all plays a part, definitely.
And I think the tracks that Alex chose this time out I think they're sensational. I think they're some of the best tracks so far. I love them all. I think they're all brilliant tracks. I mean, so far this season, is there one particular track that we've raced at that you really like, or we're going to go to that you think, I'm going to do really well there?
I'm looking forward to Nogaro. I really like that track.
So I'm expecting good results from you there. Then you've put the 50p on it. And I mean,
one day at a
time. Race 3 master. This is what I'm saying. Race 3. This is what I think you're going to do.
We'll see what we can do.
But it's blown the it's given you a good stance in the championship now. Halfway through, halfway to go.
Yep.
So it's it's going to be good. Next week, where are we next week? I didn't do the calendar. Someone's going to tell me.
Zandvoort next week.
Oh, I love Zandvoort. Very tricky track. Very tricky.
Great track. It's a great track.
Are you looking forward to that one? But again, qualifying is important with that track.
It is.
Very important.
It is. But I'm looking forward to the rest of the races, to be honest. I think my weakest track will probably be Suzuka, but Zandvoort, Nogaro and Spa, can't wait. Love them all.
Well, very well done. Thank you for joining us in the commentary booth. You're welcome anytime, unless you're in a rage, and then please do not come.
Yeah. No.
I haven't got a beeper machine, but if I have to get one, I will get one.
No, that's cool.
But thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Really well done today. I mean, it's been on the cusp all season. Is this your first victory in Crest Autosport?
No, it's not. I had a run a few seasons ago. Alex will remember it well when he was commentating on it, where we was at Watkins Glen and I did race 1 and race 3.
Okay.
I tend to win one a season usually, at least, but this one feels like it's been a long time coming. I've got to be honest. It feels.
Well, you definitely deserved it, to be honest.
Thank
you drove superbly, and Fraser Rostance, that man deserves a lot of beer.
Yeah, he'll get some.
But again, I think that's what makes it this season. Obviously I've only commentated from last season, but I have watched the earlier seasons,
Yeah.
But it seems to be this season it's taken a real... I think the racing has taken a step up in terms of you just don't turn up and pile in. Like just...
No.
I know that's not like as in just pile in, destroy all the cars, but there comes a point where, like tonight, we're going, you know, you were the number 1 tonight and Fraser was the number 2 in that final race. And we're seeing that all the way through. I've
the
seen
grid
it
is
every race.
very competitive now. Very competitive. The standard of drivers we've got now is way above where we were sort of 3 years ago. All you have to do is look at the qualifying and just the times people are posting. You know, you've got the top 20 guys within a second of each other. It's
but then
trying to pick out.
I think what makes it exciting is you've got the CA1, CA2, and CA3.
Yes.
So you know, it's like Stephen de Grevler, I think his name is, who's teammates to Alex. You know, he was super happy to take CA2 last season out. And you're on target to take CA2 at the moment. I mean, at the moment, I'd say you'd be unstoppable. But one bad round and it could change. But the quality of driving is just another level, I think, at the moment. I think it's brilliant stuff.
It is. Yeah, we've got there's a lot of familiar names that are coming back every season, and everybody's just getting better and better. So it's fantastic.
Also, I think everybody knows how each other races as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of trust between a lot of the drivers. There's always a few new people every season that you have to sort of learn, but for the most part, you tend to know how everybody operates. So it's good. It's exciting for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Well, like I said, thank you very much. Very well done.
Thank you.
Have a sit down and a break and go and buy your teammate a beer.
I think I might go and have one now.
I am not encouraging drinking for anyone watching. Please do not report me to the... It's a non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, thank you very much.
Cheers, Andrew.
Cheers,
see you next
bye-bye.
week. Bye-bye.
And yeah, absolutely well-deserved race. There will always be hundreds of talking points and different angles that people will look at that we'll have to go through. We'll have to look at how I didn't get back in, but I was probably doing something else, so I will fix that for next week. But we are live, like I say, time and time again, and because we are live, it does mean that we just have to work these things as they happen. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your evenings. I will be back same time, same place next week. We will do the 3 races next week. Hopefully Alex Everett is back in next week, or he might... I know he runs the server, so there could be some server issues, which is causing him some issues. So we'll see what happens. Other than that, thank you and good night.